Assalamu alaikum. I'm your sister Naomi. All right, let's get into a story time. Let's get into a story time. I feel like before I get into a story time, I feel like I have to give some context, some background, some things that I just kind of realized in the past few years. I realized that I have come from a family of pygmies. On my dad's side, especially, I have come from a family of pygmies. I'm not sure when my grandparents were having their children, if I don't know if someone was dropped on their head, if there was lead in the water. I don't know if the people were chewing on the paint on the side of the building, but on my father's side, pygmy runs rampant, and we didn't have that term back in the days, and it's so amazing. See, this generation is very blessed because you guys have words. You guys have words for like concepts and things and ideas that at least myself, I could never put into words. Even the term gaslighting, we didn't talk like that back in the day. A crash out. A crash out back in the day was a nervous breakdown. See, okay, so let's clarify. I am Puerto Rican and I'm from Chicago. And so when I say these things, it's not all Puerto Ricans. It's not all Puerto Ricans from Chicago. It's just all the ones that I've met. And of course, I haven't met all of us. But in my family, my culture, people around me, especially the women, very manipulative. And I was even raised to be manipulative. I was raised because you don't know what you don't know, you see. And it's like I had said in a previous video that if you do not see certain patterns or certain behavior or certain things that are abusive and toxic in your families, then you learn to tolerate it, you learn to become it. And so that's what happened to me. If you would have asked me when I was younger, are you manipulative? I would have been like, absolutely not. But I was. And I just didn't see it that way because, for example, I have an aunt, a tia, my so-called godmother, and I will go into many story times about my experiences living with her for just 2 years. And she was from, now mind you, I'm like 11, I would say 12, 13, 14, and all the way up until I was 18. There was 2 incidences where when my uncle would leave her or cheat on her, I don't know, she would put herself in the hospital. She would put herself in the mental institution. See, that's manipulative. That's manipulative. You want to make yourself the victim. You want people to feel sorry for you. You want this guy to not leave you. You want to make yourself the victim. And I'm not saying that my uncle was correct. Now, I love my uncle. I love my uncle. You know, he has since passed. But she was manipulative. And so crash outs and pick me. Any woman that was pretty, beautiful, any woman who, even if she didn't put forth effort, she was a hoe. Beauty was considered something hoish. Like pick me type stuff. Okay. And then you wonder why your husband was cheating on you. Okay. Being pretty, being athletic, it was just on some pick me. It was it was just this attitude of women are, okay, so in my family, they put this big emphasis on virginity. Alhamdulillah, good thing. And we were all young, of course, so we're all virgins. And so, my aunt in particular, and my cousins who adopted this would be like, yeah, those girls are hoes. Everyone's a hoe. I look back now and these girls were like 12, 13 years old. They probably weren't even doing anything, but everybody was a hoe. Everybody was a hoe. Everything is a hoe. Everything is a hoe. If that girl's pretty, she's a hoe. If she's fit, she's a hoe. If she's too smart, she's a hoe. Everyone is a hoe, hoe, hoe. Meanwhile, you're fat, you're frumpy, you're ugly, you're miserable, you're tired, and that's why your man cheats on you. And I don't condone that. I don't think that's correct. Because I think that if your man cheats, you should leave. I don't think you should put yourself in a mental institution or manipulate him or make it seem like you're going to die and he's going to be responsible for it. But that's pick me type stuff. And so I've never done anything like that in the sense of put myself in a mental institution or threaten to hurt myself because somebody doesn't like me. But yeah, I come from that. And then I come from also a family who are white supremacists. So if anybody tells you that Puerto Ricans are not racist, they're lying. Okay? Especially old school. Again, yes, I'm a Puerto Rican. I don't know all the Puerto Ricans, and I'm from Chicago. Puerto Ricans, even if they have African ancestry, tend to be racist. And in my family, I'm going to say that. Again, I'm still on my dad's side, only on my dad's side. On my dad's side, my grandfather is, he's mixed because now we have genealogy and ancestry, and I've been tested with all of them. And even my grandfather's brother was tested, and his is the only line I love. Okay, my cousins from that side, only ones I love, aside from my grandparents. But so my grandfather had Spaniard. However, he also had some North African ancestry there. My grandmother, my father's mother, her father was mixed. And so when they would talk about her father, we all got this story. SubhanAllah, we always got this story where it's like, why is that person dark? Oh, they're Indian. Everyone's an Indian. Everyone. There's a story of a long-haired, she ain't never bald head or short hair. Some long-haired woman who was, Cherokee, or I'm not going to say Cherokee because I'm Taino. Okay, we all got this. It happens for us too. And we even have some in our lineage also, just like out here. But in my research and what I have found is that my grandmother's father was actually mixed. He actually had more African. He was African. He's like more black, more African. And this is all in Puerto Rico. And so I will hear stories about, now here goes that generational thing again. My great grandmother, who is now, she's primarily Spaniard. Her lineage goes all the way to Spain. Canary Islands on one side of my family, but her, La Mancha, a specific area in Spain. So she gets with my great grandfather, and he is mixed, basically. And they have a bunch of children, one of whom is my grandmother. And so my grandmother, you can see, if you look at pictures, if you can see, you might, okay, Indian, people say that, but you can see the black in her. And even, her hair, her coarse hair. And I was always doing her hair. And but I remember telling her, she would say, yeah, papi's Indio. And I was like, no, I think your father's black. I think your father's black. And she's like, no, 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 no. And so because on my mom's side, yes, African. There's a lot of African primary. That's where I get the majority of my African blood comes from. But subhanAllah, it's also on my dad's side, but they negate it. And so, why I say white supremacist? Because when, as I got to get around my family and things like that, they believe that, see, you don't have to be white to be a white supremacist. If you think that white people are supreme and they're better, you're also a white supremacist. So when let's say anybody in my family, the guys get with a white girl, oh my gosh, she could do no wrong. She could be a hoe. She could be sloppy. She could be dirty. She could be garbage, not even average. And they were like, oh, she's perfection. Okay. But if a woman of color, she can also be just a regular Puerto Rican, be a little bit dark or whatever. And, oh, she could do no right. There's nothing right. She's just, but the white girls, we love them. We love them, And And so then you have, if people have like one of cousins that I have from, they're like extended cousins from my father's first cousins, they married African American men. And so on my side of the family, they will talk about them. Oh, they're with prietos, they're with black guys, racist as hell, white supremacist, thinking that they white, not white. And yeah, so I didn't realize that. Now that I'm older, now that I'm more mature, now that I've had experiences, I can look back now and be like, y'all was some pygmies, y'all was some white supremacists. And even with myself, because you can't see it because I cover, but you can tell I got black in me. My hair, everything. I look like my mother. I was a reminder. And, even when I would just, I don't know, it was just a lot of white supremacy, and it probably is still going on. When I get into the story time, and I will get into the story. Okay, my next one's going to be a story time. I will, just give examples of how, and if anybody is watching this, and if you are of Anglo-Saxon background or ancestry, please do not take offense to anything that I am saying. And if you are offended, there's nothing I can do about it. Because my family, they are, I don't know, I mean, yeah, Puerto Ricans can be definitely racist. Women can be very manipulative. Puerto Rican women, very manipulative, very shaming, try to shame you. And very gossipy, bochinchosas. And it's kind of, it's like our version of white trash. I think that's when I look back and I can, if I can look back and I can travel, aside from my grandparents, my father comes from 8 siblings. There's 9 of them. So I don't talk to my father anymore. I have an uncle who passed away. And maybe I'll do a story time about him. He passed away in prison. From what I believe, he was in jail since a teenager. And so he passed away in jail. And then my father's oldest brother, who was abusive to him, and I heard he was sexually abusive to other people in the family. And then his daughter, he like him a white girl. I guess he has all children. And then he got him a little Polish white, I don't know, white trash, white girl, who knows. And her mother is my cousin. I have story times because my mentor, and I believe it, my mentor has taught me that it's something different when your mama's white. It don't matter if you mixed. If your mama's white, something different about you. If your mama is white and she is treated in the family like she's gold because you have these Puerto Ricans who are white supremacists and love white people to their own detriment, something about you. And so he's passed away. Okay, so, and my Aunt Judy, my father had 3 sisters, and I will talk about her also. My Aunt Judy, I was young. She took me out of foster care, and she has since passed away. Everyone else of my father's siblings who are alive, I don't like. I do not like. I cannot stand. I do not like fake, phony, and even the cousins, because I will give a story time about how people hijack your family. When your family is broken up like my family was, and people want to pit you against each other or put themselves. See, my younger brother was murdered. He was brutally murdered in Utah over a decade ago. I never talk about it. It's too traumatic for me. And do you think these idiots supported me or were there for me or my brother? I don't know how they were for my father, but they show no support. What they did do was, see, this was my brother's fault. My brother's got with white girls. And I'm sorry if this sounds like a racist video. My brother got with the white girl, okay? And she was an Irish girl. We got beef. We don't get along. Her and I do not get along. I try to give her a chance. And my brother left her. And he was actually in another relationship. And this girl, she was white. She was cool. She was a cool girl. And my brother had children with this white girl. And my family loved her. Oh, gosh. Oh, these Puerto Ricans, it was the whole Lord. Oh, if you a white girl, these white supremacists. And so when my brother passed, naturally, my parents and my siblings, we were going, and my family members, they supported the estranged wife. And that's I'll get into that story time. And my family, they like supported her. It's really weird. It's really, this is when white supremacy just takes on all different types of crazy levels. And so, but yeah, we all got things in our family. And if we don't identify them and if we don't call them out, then you're going to practice the same behavior. You're going to pass it on to your children, and it's going to snowball, and then it's going to be bad. Okay? It's going to get worse. And for me, it was the pick-me-ness, the manipulativeness, the white supremacy, giving people leverage and giving them priority over your own family members, not because of any type of personality trait or anything that they've earned, but just because they are white girls, even though your cousin or your nephew was done with her. Yes, he made a mistake. He did not divorce her on paper. But, thank God there is a judgment day. Thank God. Like, only God can punish in a way that only he knows how, right? So, okay, so that's like a background. And then I will get into a story time. Please put in the comment if you have any questions or anything that you want me to get into in regards to these story times, because I think I have a lot. I think I have a lot to share. I have pick-me stuff. I have, manipulative. And for me, it's more so the older generation. It's more so my father's siblings. And even he himself. I will get into story time with him because we don't talk about what it's like to grow up with a parent in prison enough. We don't. I am of the opinion that children should never, ever, ever be made or be allowed to visit a parent in prison. Call me crazy, but I did it for 15 years. As a child, my brothers and I, and it, not good, not very selfish, I don't care about your rights. I don't care. If you want to be in your child's life, don't go to jail. That's what you do. You don't bring the child to prison with you. You don't do that ever. You don't make that child go through those things. I'm an adult now, and I would not want to drive past a prison, more or less go through one and visit anybody. Okay? So I apologize if this was kind of like all over the place, but the next video will be an official story time. All right. Assalamu alaikum.